Hello.
Hello, everyone.
Welcome back to the Reconnected Woman podcast.
I'm pretty keen to talk about a highly sensitive person, HSP. It just came to me this morning in another brushing of the teeth moment where my...
Common theme with your hits.
I know, it's like, I don't know, maybe I'm spaced out when I'm brushing my teeth because I don't really look in the mirror, I'm just daydreaming, and then the hit, I was sort of like, what are we going to talk about today? And that just sort of came in. So, yeah, today I thought it would be cool to talk about being a highly sensitive person because not only is it something some people are sort of born with or deal with early on in life, it's also something that can develop as time goes on. Have you found that?
Yeah, because it's so funny when you first brought it up this morning, I was like, I can't really relate to being emotionally sensitive. But when you're talking about this, I do think back to um, moments where I can pick up on other people's emotions. Like I
Really?
feel like there's definitely different types of sensitivity. There is ones where people are just very sensitive to what people say to them and what
Yes.
happens to them. And then there are people who are just very sensitive to other people around them, whether they're aware of it or not.
Yeah.
And like as you were talking, I even just had this like memory of when I was wanting to start becoming a life coach, and I was talking to, I think it was in like a discovery call or something, and I was like talking to the lady being like, one of my biggest concerns is like taking on other people's emotions, because I know that that's something that I do a lot, just being very empathetic
Yeah.
and just that, yeah. So
Yeah.
that is something that I have dealt with a lot and had to work through a lot in terms of sensitivity.
Yeah. So there's a couple of theories with highly sensitive. I think that I have, and it's whether you're just that's your makeup, that's your genetics, that's your soul sort of is really sensitive to your surroundings, to other energy, to people, to things like food and environment and everything like that. But I also feel like it can be from trauma as well, like being hypersensitive. And I know that in my life, apparently from day dot, I was highly sensitive. Like mum said that when I was a baby, she was having to drag me around everywhere because I was crying and I couldn't be without her. Like, it's just like this crying, emotional baby from like, and then I was like vomiting all the time. And it just, it's funny. It's carried through my whole life, and there's been times where I think that I've been highly sensitive to emotions, and to the point where I just wanted to be an introvert and be by myself because it was easier. And I think that can be hard, like living and dealing with life. Hey, like it can be super hard being highly sensitive because you feel like you've got to walk this path of being sort of strict. Like I find that I've got to be very careful of my environment. I've got to be careful with what I eat. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, as you talk, I'm just like picking up different pieces. I'm like, you're a projector. You've got so much, like, if we look at the human design aspect, you've got a lot of openness in your chart, right? So the more openness you've got, the more susceptible you are to things in your environment.
Yeah.
So there's that aspect. There's definitely like just you as a person and your characteristics, and there's your past experiences. I don't feel like it's just one thing ever.
Yeah.
Then also, it's like, is this the thing or one of the things that is what you get to work on in this life. It's like, is that the thing that's really going to, I guess, support you to be the person that you want to be, or whatever it is, right? Like, because I see being a sensitive person as a gift,
I was
like
just
such
thinking
a
that, yeah.
gift. And it can be, I mean, again, it's that conditioning of, oh, you're a sensitive person, like from a negative point of view.
Yeah.
And oh, why do you have to be so sensitive? Like, but when you actually flip it, and everything's all about perspective, honestly, I believe. And when you start to flip it and look at it as a gift rather than a a weakness,
Yeah.
that's when everything does start to change. I mean, I even think about my, like, one of my biggest struggles was I always thought that I was dumb. Like, always thought that, oh, I don't have a big vocabulary. I don't use all these fancy words. I don't, like all that kind of stuff. I'm very simplistic. And so I would look at it from that point of view and be like, I'm not, I look at all these like women that are using the fancy language and they're so sophisticated, and I would compare myself against them. And it wasn't until I actually realized this is actually a gift. I can take complex things and simplify them for people to understand.
Yeah. Oh my God. And do you know that's crazy that you just said that? I feel like you were speaking on behalf of me as well. 100%. To this day, I struggle with, I feel dumb because, like, whilst I can interpret everything in my environment really well, I feel like getting that out, communicating that is not fast flowing for me. It's almost like it's like I've got some disconnection in the brain. I feel sometimes where it's like going through the filters and then coming out. And yeah, there are definitely people who are really in their brains and are seeming very smart. But when I think about the fact that they're maybe just in their brain too much, they're not in their heart and connected to themselves, they're not, they could just be reciting things, right? I don't know. It's, we're all wired differently. It's, and we do have this gift of being able to simplify things and bring that out. Because I actually switch off when people become too technical and too like wordy and fancy. I'm just like, no, no, that is not interesting.
Yeah. And it's the same when it comes to sensitivity. Like, we can look at it at ways that it's a weakness, or we can look at it from a strength. And at the same time, I feel like it's also really important to protect our energy at the same time. Like, we can still be sensitive and protect our energy. And I think that's where the balance needs to come in, and it is like building that muscle.
Absolutely. That's such a huge thing. Learning protection
Yeah.
is still something I need. I'm so much better at it now, but I used to get attacked. Like, I felt like my energy would be drained from me because people would see me as someone that maybe had this good energy or like weakness, and then they would just suck it out of me and I would just be completely drained. And learning to protect yourself is so important. Um, yeah, yeah, it's really
Yeah.
cool.
There's this book that I read um years ago. It was while I was living in Canada, and I saw it and I was like, "Oh my God, I need to read this book." It's called Energetic Boundaries.
Yeah,
I'll put it in the show notes. And it's amazing. I actually want to read it again because they talk about all the different like energy vampires and people who drain your energy, and it gives you tips to actually learn how to build your boundaries up, because I feel that it's very easy for you to swing from one way to the other, to be like, oh, being so hypercritical on yourself with how sensitive you are, and comparing yourself to other people and be like, oh, why am I so sensitive? Or like looking at it as a weakness, looking at it as a problem. But then we can kind of swing the opposite way and just be like, I'm just going to block everyone out. I'm just going to, because whether it is that we've been hurt so many times, or been taken advantage of so many times. And yeah, you can swing this other way of just kind of being cold and stone and putting your walls up and not letting anybody in,
Yeah.
which is absolutely my personal experience of just not letting anybody in, just putting up those walls. And so it is about finding that balance and actually seeing it as a gift and seeing like, okay, well, this is who I am, and it is something that is really special to have, to be able to pick up how other people are feeling, recognizing that I'm picking up how other people are feeling, noticing that it's actually not mine, it's theirs,
Yeah.
and knowing when to block it out. And also
Yeah.
it's the boundaries thing. And boundaries is such a big thing, especially when it comes to being like reconnected to yourself, right? You need to have strong boundaries.
Yeah. And also, like, being an empath is something that is really hard to navigate when you're so sensitive to the feelings of everyone around you, and sometimes you're feeling what they're feeling, and it's like that is where the boundary needs to come in. Like, I learned that. I always thought, like, being an empath, it was just like, oh, I feel everyone's um things, and that's really cool, and it felt like I was prepared to interact with people. Like, I was like, I know what's going on with them, no matter what that facade they're putting on. I could literally tap in and go, okay, cool, I feel at peace because whatever's going on. But it's also could swing the other way where it's like, oh, I can feel that person's not liking me or vibing with me at the moment. So then I would sort of know that even if they were being like fake nice to me, I'd be like, oh, there's some um what's the word? There's some disconnection
Resistance.
here. Sorry?
Resistance.
Resistance, yeah.
Yeah.
But one of the things I started learning with the boundaries was you don't have to accept that. And that's such a big thing. Like, I wish that someone had taught me earlier. I've only started doing it properly in the last sort of few years.
So how have you noticed, you're talking about how you've started to put boundaries in place to help with your sensitivity? What kind of boundaries? So ones of you saying, I don't have to accept this. Like, what else do you find is really helpful when it comes to your sensitivity? And one, like, do you still find that you take on other people's energy or emotions without realizing it? Or are you better at um picking up and be like, oh, hang on, I'm feeling a little bit off. Is this mine? Like, what have you found has been really helpful for you to like really protect your own energy?
Um, Actually, closing my energy field off. So a lot of it was visualization, like that I was in a protective bubble, or I had like a wall up or a mirror that meant that anyone I interacted with could it would sort of bounce off me. But I also consciously now, when I see certain people, I can switch off or ask, I don't want to feel that. Like, and I sort of go, if I walk into their field and I feel their energy, I can go no, and it pushes back. Like, it's this conscious wall that I'm putting up now, which is really cool. And it's it's making those clear boundaries and statements of, I don't need to feel this. There's no benefit, because in some unconscious way, I think that people will sense an empath or someone that's highly sensitive and sort of project more so onto them. Have you
Mhm.
found that?
Yeah, either project or just take
Or take?
without even noticing. I know that actually something that I do a lot is when I know I'm going into a space with a lot of crowds, then I mean, to be honest, I haven't done it as much recently. I feel like I'm just, during this whole pregnancy, I'm just in this like constant bubble of like
Protection.
extreme action
Yeah.
without even having to do anything.
Yeah.
Um, but I do put a bubble around me to be like, nothing can come in, nothing can come out. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I feel like it's also something energetically, I feel like it's something that happens a lot more when you start to reconnect with yourself, when you start to tap in more with yourself, that you become more sensitive
Yeah.
to things.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because I even just think about years ago, I'll go to the shopping center and I could be at the shopping center for ages and it wouldn't impact me at all. Whereas now, when I go to the shopping center, it drains me.
Yeah.
Just like the amount of people that are there and what's going on. And I mean, it could also be just an overstimulation as well. But I think the more that you come back into yourself, it's something to be aware of is like, I guess it's also kind of like this whole shining your light, like your light
Yeah.
gets brighter. And I've talked a lot about this with other friends who have gone through, their journey of finding themselves and putting up boundaries and it's like the more that you come back to yourself, the more your inner light shines and you can attract other people to that light. Sometimes they're the people you want to attract and sometimes they aren't. And so it's like, okay, well, we also need to learn how to protect our boundaries and
Yeah.
protect ourselves so that we aren't getting those people that are wanting to take from us and
Absolutely.
instead actually want to replenish us and want to support us and lift us up.
I really do feel like the more inner work that we do, the more in alignment we are with our true soul and nature. And as you're doing the work, you're clearing out the darkness, um you're just connecting more with source in a way, I guess, or the universe or whatever. And you are just getting brighter and brighter. And when you feel comfortable and happy in yourself, you are shining this light, and people are attracted to that, good and bad. Like, we could go down this rabbit hole of talking about like really woo woo when bad energies, like our dark energies, are attracted to us. I have to share this. This is related, and then we can go. So I woke up this morning. My parents are overseas, and they've been doing a trip in Ireland and Scotland, and they've just gone to a place in Edinburgh, and obviously they've got some beautiful old buildings there, and they're staying in a place. And my mum sent me a photo of this fireplace, and she's like, "There's someone watching us." And I was like, oh my gosh. And she's like, what do you think of this photo? And there is a face, literally a
Oh
face of
my
this
God.
being of something. It is not human. And it just had like a scar, and it was just really, it reminded me of something off of Harry Potter, literally.
Mm,
And mum's like, don't worry, your dad's got his energy protected. Like, it's totally fine. But they've been there a couple of nights, and this being is like there in this old building with them. And mum's like, it's not
yeah,
creeping me out anymore. He's just here. I'm like, oh God.
yeah. I think that's the other thing is too, right? Like we're going down that route. I actually, Scotland has a lot of um that energy because it's got such old history, and I remember one of my first experiences of that kind of stuff happening was in Edinburgh, and I can't
Really?
even explain it. Can't even, no, it wasn't in Edinburgh, sorry, it was in Loch Ness.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
we were in, I was on like a tour or something, and um we were in this room and there were bunk beds, and I just remember having this, I can't even explain it, but I was in bed and I had to face the wall. Like there was just something where I was just like, I can't face the other way to the hallway or whatever it is. I have to face the wall because it felt like something was watching me.
Yeah.
And yeah, so, and that's the first experience that I've had. And then later found out that that room was haunted. I was like, great, yay, love that for me. Um, and that's the other thing, right? Is like, people can get really scared about that type of stuff in the spiritual world and
Yeah.
what's out there. And I know that I've been very scared in the past. And again, it's all about boundaries and it's all about consent. And all you need to do is say no.
Yeah. That's it.
And when we have those weak boundaries with the physical world, with people, with friends, with, you know, allowing other people's emotions to come in, then we're also subconsciously allowing other things to come in as well. So
Yeah.
we can easily protect ourselves. We are so, so powerful that all we need to do is say no. And we
Yeah.
can say no, and we have every right to say no and be like, nope, I'm not open to that.
Yeah. Definitely.
And it's so powerful as well to experience that. And I've definitely, now that I have, yeah, gone down this path, and there's definitely a lot of spiritual experiences that I've had that a lot of, quite a few were not great at all.
Yeah.
Um, and that only just strengthened my boundaries even more to be like, no, like, you can't touch me. No, this is not happening. No, I don't accept this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how have you found being highly sensitive in regards to like, because I know you have talked a bit about, or you're passionate about having low tox living. So not only, well, I mean, we're talking energy, sensitivity, and emotions right now, but it obviously extends for a lot of people out to food, and it's becoming more and more um, popular to notice even children coming through with allergies. And
Mm.
like, what are your thoughts on being highly sensitive in regards to toxins and food and everything like that? Do you think that we have just are living in a world where our bodies and soul or energies are requiring a higher vibration than what's available?
It's so, yeah, I don't think I've got a definitive answer for myself and for my own truth. Um, because especially with me learning all about homeopathy, and that's all about frequency as well, right? Like, um, what I have noticed, and I can just like speak in my own experience. So, um, growing up, like I've spoken about how my brother was highly sensitive to different types of foods, especially preservatives and food colorings and stuff, and how that impacted his behavior. Um, but I was still like, using perfume and scented candles and um, uh, all these different personal products and all that kind of stuff, right? And it's interesting because when I started to learn more about toxins and started to pull back on that stuff, that's when I became more sensitive to it. And I guess it's kind of like what I was saying before is like when you come back to yourself, that's when you're more aware of things
Yeah.
and you can become more sensitive to it. And so, um, I don't know if that's also because that was when my chronic illness started as well. So that's when I started like no longer using um, artificial perfumes and artificial fragrance and all that kind of stuff. And now I really am a radar for artificial fragrance and for EMF radiation.
Really?
Um, so sensitive to it. It's insane. Um, there's this, what was that? This one time that I didn't even realize this happened until afterwards, but I got in a car with some friends. We drove half an hour to lunch, and in this car, I don't get car sick. I mean, being pregnant, I get car sick now, but prior to that, I did not get car sick. And um, I just felt so sick in this car. And as soon as I got out, I was like, oh, I'm fine. It's all good. Didn't think anything of it. After lunch, got back into the car, started feeling sick again. Like, so much so, I had to wind down the window because I literally thought I was going to throw up. And then we got out of the car. I was literally like, get me out of this car. We got out of the car and I said to one of my friends, I was like, I felt so sick in that car. Oh my lordy. And she's like, yeah, whenever I get into an electric car, I get really bad headaches. I was like, oh, was it an electric car? She's like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay.
Wow.
Remind myself never to go into an electric car ever again because it made me feel like shit.
Holy
Um,
dooly. I've
yeah.
never even been in an electric car, really, to be honest. I wouldn't have a clue what
Yeah,
it feels
yeah.
like, but
And I can't wear AirPods. I get a headache straight away. Like I got given AirPods for my birthday or something years ago. I was like, "Oh, cool. This is great." And then I put them in and instantly I get this weird fuzzy headache sensation. I can't deal with it. So I'm, yeah, really sensitive to that type of stuff.
wow.
Is it because I'm tapping more into myself and becoming more grounded and detoxing? Because it's like, yeah, I don't know what it is. It's like we are exposed to so many different things, and it's until we are no longer exposed to them that we start to really feel it.
Feel how much the benefits of not having them in our life are. And then when you notice that, you can't go back. It's like, oh, I can't do that. Like, I notice a lot of fragrance now. So I've stopped using perfume and I use like essential oils and aromatherapy and things like that. And when I go out with like to events and people have, or just out to the shops or whatever, I smell people's perfume from a mile away and I get a
Right?
headache. I get a
Yes.
headache. I'm like,
Yes.
oh, this is so bad. Or if you go into a chemist and like you can just smell everything and the lights are so bright and I'm like, I can't deal with this. I just want to wear like my sunglasses inside and oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Yep. It's even with like people are giving us, which is amazing, so many hand-me-down baby clothes. And you open up the bag and you get this whiff of like laundry detergent and I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so bad. But then I also look at it from like a homeopathic point of view and frequency, and they say that when your your frequency is lowered from illness or whatever it is, other things can impact you as well.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm still kind of like figuring out is like, oh, is it also because I'm still going through this detox phase
Yeah.
and things are impacting me? But then I think there's definitely this thing when you do start to detox and your body is no longer receiving these things, is that it is more sensitive.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Definitely.
I don't feel like there's like one definitive answer, but um, I think it's just something to be aware of because it's with anything, whether it is like your sensitivity to toxins or
Yeah.
other people's emotions or energy vampires or whatever it is. It's like noticing, okay, this is my reality, this is what's going on for me, and I'm just not going to allow those things. And I think it's also it's challenging when you start to like shift and change and do things that the people around you aren't
Aren't
used to
doing.
you
It's,
doing,
yeah.
because then you can be seen as difficult, you can be seen as, oh, you're like high maintenance or whatever. And um i just
When
I
in
think the more,
reality, we're just waking up.
and we're just doing what's right for us as well,
Yeah.
right? Like when I did my registry for my baby shower, I was like, everything is organic cotton.
Yeah.
And um, and in the past, I probably would have been like, oh, is that being like too, crunchy, or is that being too difficult? Whereas now I'm like, no, this is the lifestyle that I've chosen. This is what actually supports me and supports my bub and supports my family.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to apologize for that. And if people don't want to buy that, then that's okay. They don't have to get that stuff. They can get me something else.
Yeah.
But it is something that people just know now, that they don't buy me fake fragrance stuff. They don't buy me
Yeah.
those types of things because I just own it. I
That's
think
great.
that's the thing, is like we do need to get to this point where we just need to own it and just be like, well, this is just where the way that I am, and I'm not being difficult. And if you think that I'm being difficult, well, that's okay. That's on you. This is how I live my life now. This is how I best protect myself. This is how I feel whole. And whatever you want to do is perfect for you.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of us are getting guided to be more aware of what we're putting into our bodies, on our bodies, how bad toxins really are for our bodies, mental health, like everything. And so there's a bit of a movement happening with it. I know in myself, it's been part of the fertility journey, looking at everything and going, what is potentially harming me, my body, and my hormones, impacting the hormone levels, because, fragrance can disrupt that.
Mm-hmm.
Eating certain foods, like I've been really conscious with, like I still enjoy eating meat, love my fruit and veggies, but I didn't want to eat meat that had hormones injected into it,
Oh, yeah.
and was like, I have literally become a bit of a meat snob, and I will only buy
There is
organic.
nothing wrong with
I will
that.
only buy organic meat. I was trying to do the whole organic meat, fruit, and veg, but then it becomes super expensive, and it's like, well,
Yeah. Just a little side note, they still use pesticides on organic fruit and veg, so you still need
right.
to wash that shit.
Okay, right.
Yep. Yep. And I think there's something that has just been introduced that is now legally being able to used on organic fruit veg. I can't remember what it's called.
A
So yeah,
chemical.
like yes. So properly like rinsing or like washing your fruit and veg, not just in
Yeah.
water, because water doesn't remove that stuff, um,
What do you wash yours
is
with?
so important. I use my water ionizer because it changes the pH level
I
of the
need to get
water.
onto this shit. I need to try it. Need
I
to.
have heard that like vinegar and bicarb soda can work as well.
Would
I
that
don't know.
change the flavor though of like your
That's what
fruit
I
and stuff?
think.
Like I'm thinking of
Yeah.
my blueberries and raspberries that I like to put on like my breakfast, and I'm thinking I can't imagine the raspberry being nice after that. I don't know.
Yeah, with the bicarb soda all over it. Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, because most pesticides and herbicides are oil based, so water is not going to remove that.
Oh, that is an interesting fact to share with everyone. I didn't even know that myself. Okay.
Yep.
There you
Yep.
go.
Little fun fact. So yeah, I mean, we try and like if we go to the markets and we see that they have spray free stuff, then we like to get that. But you can only do what you can do as well, right? Like
Yeah.
at the end of the day, there are so many different things that can be done, and I'm not super anal. I know that, everything comes in balance, and um you can only do so much.
Yeah.
So whether it's to do with like energy or budget or whatever it is, right? So we can only do what we can do, and
Yeah.
we're doing the best that we can do. Um, and I also feel that when you stress about everything, that is worse
Yeah, because
because stress is like worse of an impact. It's going to impact
then
your
the
health
food.
more than the
Absolutely.
food
Yeah.
itself.
I learned that the hard way because I was trying to be this perfectionist and I was like, I can't have anything bad in my diet. I went through this phase at one point. And then I was just like, I'm not happy and joyful and I'm stressed when I'm eating or I'm overthinking everything. And it's like, sometimes I think I read something somewhere and it was like, sometimes you've just got to eat what brings you joy. And that is actually better for you energetically than eating the healthiest thing on a menu. Or so I remember feeling really joyful and happy about having some junk food, and I was like, yes, this is making me feel good. Like maybe I'm just
Yes,
justifying to
absolutely.
myself at the time that it's no, but I do think having that energetic state of joy and enjoying and not being stressed when you're making a decision to do something, and just making sure it aligns within yourself. Like this internet and social media has so much information about what is great for your health and wellness and fertility and whatever energetic
Mindset.
state, mindset. And it's about discernment and what it feels right for you and you trying that, because when you're doing something because you've seen it, it doesn't mean that it's right for you. Like that brings in that whole aspect of just being authentic. And I'm just really conscious now of using discernment in every decision that I make. Does this feel right for me? Does this feel wrong? And that's where like the energy testing or the sway test that you and I do when we check in to see if it feels right, that's really cool. I am trying to implement that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's so important just starting to learn to check in with yourself with anything.
Yeah.
That was one of the first things that I started to do especially when it came to like putting up boundaries or energetic boundaries and learning to be less sensitive to other people's emotions. Or
Yeah.
not even like less sensitive, just not allowing them in. Is like noticing when I've spent time with somebody how they actually make me feel
Yeah.
afterwards or during.
Definitely.
Like, does this person actually fulfill me and make me feel whole, and do I leave their presence feeling good,
And
or do I leave feeling depleted or
yeah.
self-conscious or frustrated or doubtful or angry or whatever it
Yeah.
is? Like, that's such a beautiful way to start, like being like, okay, well, where do I actually need to put boundaries
Yeah.
in place? Where do I need to start to do like a life check? Is like coming in with yourself and just being like, okay, what am I even feeling right now? Like, what's my emotions or what's the sensations in my body? Am I feeling nervous or
Yeah.
like tense or whatever it is?
I definitely think your body is the best radar for telling you what's good for you and what's not, like what's right and what's wrong. Like if I walk in and I get this anxiety and from someone and it's not their anxiety, it just doesn't leave me the whole time I'm there. I'm like, their energy doesn't align with mine, or like you're saying when you're absolutely exhausted and depleted from being with someone, they're draining your energy, they're getting something off of you, they're not meeting you at that same state where you're feeling energized from being in their company. And now I'm super selective with who I spend time with. And
Mm-hmm.
obviously, we all have family members or in laws or friends of friends that aren't always going to be energetically aligned with who we are.
Yeah.
And that's when those boundaries and protections need to come up. And I genuinely feel like now we're living in a day and age where everyone's sort of can determine who is right for them or not, and you just sort of are drawn to someone or you're not, and it's like this separation is happening effortlessly. Like, that's how I feel anyway. Like, the people who are drawn to each other are drawn to each other, and the people who aren't will go their own way. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
It's about
absolutely.
surrounding yourself with your people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like that is honestly, I feel like that is one of the biggest things because I know when I started really wanting to work on myself and work on my personal development and reconnecting and my confidence and all that kind of thing, I feel that one of the biggest struggles for me was like I was in a workplace that didn't align with my values and I was in, you know, like had family and all that kind of stuff that are amazing, but also I wanted to go this other kind of way. And it's so challenging to try and work on your values and your boundaries and whatever it is if you don't have an environment that is supporting that.
Yeah.
And it would kind of be like I would do this like short course or this program and because I'd be surrounded by these people and I'd be tapping into it every other day or, you know, doing the different practices or whatever it is in that moment, I would be in it. And then a couple of weeks later, once it finishes, it's like nothing ever happened. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, we go back to autopilot. And so that's why I find it so important to have even just one person that is going to support you or be aligned with your values or where you want to go
Yeah.
or just be immersing yourself all the time. Maybe it's a podcast that
Yes.
you want to listen to, right?
Okay, this one.
Once a week or this podcast that helps you stay in that environment or to remind you to be like, oh, okay, that's right, this is where I'm going.
Yeah.
Because it's so easy to be drawn back in. And that was, I think, one of my biggest struggles and why it took me so long to actually go where I wanted to go and heal and do all those things was because I didn't have a supportive environment. I didn't have the community that, well, yes, I had a supportive environment, but you know what I mean. Like, I didn't have the people around me or the energies around me or the values around me that I wanted to go that would support me and remind me,
Yeah.
oh, this is the mindset that we've got now. Like, you know, I don't have a scarcity mindset. I don't think like that. I don't allow that. And so once I actually immersed myself into more things or just started going to different places or different events where I could meet people that were either on the same journey as me or maybe a couple of steps ahead of me so that I could tap into that and remind myself so that I wasn't like falling back into autopilot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then like obviously the more you do it, the more it just becomes like second nature and you can just like switch it on or you can just naturally be like that all the time. But you know, it's so true what they say that like the five, what did they say? The five most or the five people around you are the most, I'm butchering this, but it's like the five closest people around you define who you are or whatever. And it's so true because you can just be around a toxic person all day and then by the end of the day you feel like shit.
Yeah.
Or you're starting to think like them.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like who you surround yourself with is so, so important.
Definitely. I was gonna say the same thing, but yeah. It's yeah, it's definitely, I agree with you there. And it takes, I've seen so many people, like, it's hard to watch when you meet people, especially people you care about, like friends and family, and you kind of see the paths they're going down with the people they're surrounding themselves with. And I just go, oh, like, I can see what's draining them. I can see what's not right for them. I can see where they need to, like, course correct. But again, it's everyone's journey, and you've got to, you could be in that place for a reason, and that's going to direct you somewhere else. You're learning a lesson there. And yeah, that's been a theme in my life. Like, I've had some really good energies. I've had some really good times where I've had people come into my life, and it's that whole reason, season, lifetime, well, that's a saying, I think.
Yeah.
And you get some that come in and they really are teaching you what you do want or what you don't want. And yeah, I truly feel like things are put in our path as part of learning and evolving.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not here to change other people as well, right? Like we're
No.
all on our own journey. And I think something that we can also get trapped in is like when we see the light and we're
Yeah.
like, I feel amazing. These are all the things that we do. But then we try and like fix other people.
Yeah.
And that's not supportive either.
No.
Right? Like, so they're on their own journey, and if they see how much you change, then maybe that's what will support them if that's the path that they choose. But I think it's so important to focus on ourselves and to
Yeah.
know that by helping ourselves, we are helping other people.
Yeah.
If that's what we want to do, if we want to help other people, we've got to focus on ourselves first.
All we can do is shine our
Yeah.
light, and the right people will
Come to
be.
us.
Yeah, that's it. I truly believe in
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, you've been listening to the Reconnected Woman podcast,
Yes.
and we will see you next time.
See you next time. Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.